breaking news has shaken the hip-hop world. Lil Durk isn't just fighting charges, he may be fighting betrayal from inside his own circle. The real question, are his friends actually his biggest enemies? A shocking twist just hit Lil Durk's case: snitches, secret body cam footage, and mysterious disappearances. But here's the question, do the feds really have the evidence, or is this just a setup to silence him forever? Fans believe the real reason Lil Durk was denied bond wasn't money, it was a shocking betrayal from someone deep inside his camp. If that's true, everything in hip-hop could be about to change. Breaking news has shaken the hip-hop world. Rapper Lil Durk, whose real name is Dirk Banks from Chicago, is facing serious trouble. Arrested in Florida on a murder-for-hire charge, his mugshot quickly spread online. But what happened next made things even worse. Inside jail, Durk was reportedly caught with a cell phone, landing him in solitary confinement. Some people close to him are calling it unfair, even claiming the phone was planted by authorities to keep him locked in the hole. According to one inmate, the system is deliberately trying to make Durk's time behind bars harder, punishing him simply because of who he is and the influence he carries. The situation grew more intense after reports surfaced of an altercation in jail involving Durk. Fellow rapper Lil Baby immediately voiced his concern on social media, tweeting, "I don't care about nothing else other than Durk right now, free the bro." This only added fuel to speculation that Durk was being targeted. Meanwhile, tragedy struck back home in Chicago when Durk's friend Glee passed away. Many fans connected the timing of his death with old rivalries. They pointed to Quando Rondo and his associate Lil Tim, both of whom gave interviews on the same day. These are the same men linked to the killing of King Von, Durk's close friend. To complicate things further, prosecutors claim Durk is tied to a hit on Lil Pab, a friend of Quando. This has led many to believe revenge is playing a dangerous role in what's happening now. In past interviews, Lil Tim has spoken openly about the tragic night when King Von lost his life. For him, that moment has never been about fame, clout, or headlines. As he's explained, his actions came down to one thing: protecting his brother. Tim has admitted more than once that he wishes events had unfolded differently. If given the choice, he would have wanted a peaceful outcome. But in that split second, when chaos erupted and fists turned to gunfire, he says he did what his instincts told him to do. Tim doesn't describe himself as a hero or a villain. Instead, he paints the picture of a man caught in the storm of a street conflict that spun out of control. His words reflect a heavy mix of regret and justification. "I wasn't out there chasing clout," he has said. "I wasn't looking to make a name. I reacted in the moment to protect family." For anyone who has grown up in environments where loyalty and survival often go hand in hand, Tim's reasoning resonates. In his eyes, it was never about starting a war, it was about ending one before his own bloodline was taken away from him. Quando Rondo, who was at the center of that night's events, has echoed a similar sentiment. Looking back, he has expressed that none of this was worth the pain it caused. According to him, the confrontation never should have escalated to that point. There were other paths, other solutions, that could have avoided bloodshed. This could have been handled in a different way, Rondo reflected, noting that music, business opportunities, or even million-dollar collaborations could have settled differences instead of violence. The irony, of course, is that both camps were deeply rooted in music, a craft meant to inspire, connect, and generate wealth. Yet in the end, the stage they shared became the street, and the price paid was a human life. For Rondo, the regret isn't just personal, it's also professional. He knows the toll that Von's death has taken on his own career. Once seen as a rising star with momentum, his name is now permanently tied to one of the most divisive tragedies in modern hip-hop. Some fans cut ties with him altogether, while others doubled down in support. But no matter which side people chose, the controversy changed everything. Rondo has admitted that he often thinks about how different things might look if he and Von had chosen to collaborate instead of collide. A track together could have been a major cultural moment, uniting fan bases and bringing new levels of success. Instead, the feud left scars on both sides of the industry. The death of King Von also reignited debates around the role of street loyalty in hip-hop. Was it loyalty that fueled the violence, or was it pride? For Tim, the answer is simple: his loyalty is to his brother first. He has stressed that no amount of music, money, or industry opportunity could outweigh that responsibility. Yet, at the same time, both he and Rondo have acknowledged that the choices made that night weren't inevitable. There were exits, other doors that could have been opened. They just weren't chosen in time. The tragedy has also exposed a larger truth about the hip-hop world. Many artists are forced to navigate the thin line between art and reality. Lyrics can glorify street battles, but in real life, bullets don't rewind. Fans may cheer diss tracks and social media callouts, but when those words cross into actual violence, the costs are devastating. Von's death stands as a reminder that the lifestyle rappers portray, and the one they often live, can collide in irreversible ways. Looking back now, both Tim and Rondo seem to understand that the events of that night were bigger than themselves. For Tim, it's about carrying the weight of pulling the trigger, even if he believes it saved a life. For Rondo, it's about knowing that a musical rivalry could have been transformed into partnership and profit. They've both expressed that if they could go back, they would do things differently. Yet time doesn't bend, and regret doesn't resurrect. Von's passing left a wound in Chicago's drill scene and in hip-hop as a whole. Fans still mourn him, celebrate his music, and debate what might have been had he lived longer. Meanwhile, Rondo continues to face the backlash, his name forever linked to the loss of an artist who was only just entering his prime. And Tim, though alive and free for now, knows his legacy is permanently tied to a single night when he made a choice he can never undo. In the end, their reflections point to a universal truth. Violence may feel like a solution in the heat of the moment, but it leaves nothing behind except emptiness. The money, the fame, the music, all of it fades in comparison to the permanence of death. Both Tim and Rondo's words show a rare glimpse of clarity, a recognition that life offers alternatives if we pause long enough to see them. For them, that pause came too late. For others watching, perhaps it can serve as a lesson. The story of that night isn't just about who pulled the trigger or who lost their life. It's about how much more could have been gained if pride had given way to peace. Back in court, Durk's legal battles have taken twists and turns. His father revealed this was Durk's third attempt at bond, and that the hearing felt more balanced this time. Prosecutors even dropped certain pieces of evidence, including using Durk's lyrics against him, which his lawyer called a victory. One major allegation, that Durk paid a bounty through a co-defendant, was also walked back. This suggested the government's case wasn't as strong as they once claimed. Still, the fight is far from over. Despite dropping evidence, prosecutors argued that Durk's wealth could make him dangerous, that he might use his money to influence or intimidate witnesses. Because of that, the judge once again denied bond, keeping him behind bars as he faces a charge that carries the possibility of life in prison. Reactions have been divided. Controversial commentator Charleston White said this was a victory for people tired of drill rap's violence, even suggesting the genre should die out with Durk's case. But legal experts see the prosecution's retreat on key evidence as a sign the case might not be as solid as it appears. For now, Lil Durk remains in solitary, his future uncertain. Supporters are rallying online, hoping he gets another chance at freedom, while prosecutors push the narrative that he's too much of a risk to release. What happens next could reshape not only his life, but also the legacy of drill music itself. The legal battle surrounding Lil Durk seems to grow darker with each new development. What started as a high-profile case has turned into something far more complex, with prosecutors digging deeper and uncovering more layers that could determine his future. At the heart of the latest courtroom drama is the question of bond. Durk's legal team pushed for his release, but prosecutors strongly opposed it. Their argument was straightforward yet alarming. If Durk were to be granted bond, his wealth, influence, and powerful network would give him everything he needs to vanish or manipulate the case from the outside. In their view, his financial resources could be used to flee the country or, even worse, intimidate potential witnesses who might testify against him. That reasoning alone was enough to convince the judge to deny bond, keeping the rapper behind bars while the case moves forward. But while the official explanation is unsettling, many fans believe there's more to the story. Online, whispers have turned into viral discussions, with social media users dissecting every new detail like detectives. A tweet that spread quickly across hip-hop Twitter added fuel to the fire. If you think Durk was denied bond because he's rich, you know nothing about this case. Does brother just snitched? Instead of making it public, they're hiding it to catch Durk's lawyers off guard. That claim shook the fan base. If true, it suggests the denial of bond wasn't simply about Durk's resources, it was about a secret betrayal from someone close to the inner circle. The idea that a potential cooperator, especially one with family ties, could be feeding the feds information is a devastating twist. And the notion that prosecutors might deliberately keep this quiet until the right moment only raises the stakes higher. The speculation highlights just how murky and strategic high-level cases like this can be. In major federal trials, timing is everything. By withholding certain details, prosecutors can build pressure, forcing the defense into reaction mode instead of preparation. If a surprise witness were suddenly revealed, it could shift the entire direction of the trial, blindsiding Durk's attorneys in the middle of their defense strategy. For Durk's supporters, this possibility feels like yet another attempt to stack the deck against him. For critics, however, it seems like proof that the walls are closing in. Either way, the lack of transparency has only intensified the conversation. Every court date, every filing, every leaked report is now examined through the lens of secrecy and suspicion. What makes the situation even more volatile is Durk's position in the industry. He isn't just another defendant. He's a globally recognized figure with millions of fans, lucrative deals, and an influence that stretches far beyond Chicago. His fate doesn't just affect him. It sends ripples across hip-hop, business partnerships, and the broader culture. For now, one thing is certain. The case against Lil Durk isn't just about the crimes alleged on paper. It's about perception, power, and the hidden moves being played behind the scenes. And until more details surface, the mystery of who's really pulling the strings and what role snitches might play will continue to loom large over the courtroom. This claim comes after new body cam footage surfaced showing a man named Ted's brother apparently begging the police for a deal. Ted is closely tied to Durk's alleged crew, the so-called F-Team. According to reports, police caught him at a convenience store with a gun, an extended clip in his pocket, and took him in. Before he was even processed, he allegedly told officers he was ready to talk about murders and other crimes if they would let him go. On the leaked video, Ted can be heard pleading with police. "I swear I'll tell you everything, please." Officers tried to calm him down as he talked about names, numbers, and what he could give them. When Ted's last name appeared in court filings, many fans assumed it was actually DD, another associate, who had snitched, since they share the same surname. Others believed it might even be Vonnie, King Von's cousin, after rumors of him cooperating with authorities began spreading online. Trying to quiet the chaos, Durk's friend Bezo went live on Instagram, telling fans they don't know the real facts. He called the snitching accusations false and warned people to stop playing detective with rumors they don't understand. But shortly after, Vonnie's own father confirmed to DJ Academics that his son had in fact cooperated with investigators. He even hinted that Vonnie had inside knowledge of both Lil Pab's and King Von's deaths. In a shocking moment during the interview, Vonnie's father described a text exchange where Durk allegedly asked Vonnie, "Was it open?" A phrase fans now believe could have been code about whether a backdoor plan was ready. Vonnie reportedly replied, "It's off the hinges." This has fueled speculation that there was betrayal inside Durk's circle, possibly even involving the death of King Von. The accusations go further. Some believe Durk used Instagram Live as an alibi, appearing online right after major shootings, like the deaths of Von, Lil Pab, and FBG Duck, to make it look like he wasn't involved. With Vonnie's father openly calling his son a snitch and claiming Durk orchestrated hits, federal agents have even more reason to fear that Durk could use his money to place bounties on witnesses, the very charge he's currently facing. Even King Von's sister-in-law recently called Vonnie a rat on social media, confirming the betrayal rumors. For prosecutors, it all fits a dangerous pattern: a wealthy rapper allegedly bankrolling violence, surrounded by friends now turning informant. All of this is why the government is pushing to keep Durk behind bars. The murder-for-hire charge alone carries the possibility of life in prison, and, under federal law, that means no bond unless the defense can show extraordinary reasons. With insiders flipping and new evidence surfacing, prosecutors say the risk is simply too high. Ever since Lil Durk was locked up, rumors have swirled that he may have ordered more hits from behind bars. The main reason? One of the key informants in his case, a man named Jam, suddenly vanished. People online started asking, has anyone seen Jam since he snitched on Durk? Jam was no small figure. Known in the streets as F Jam, he once served 12 years, got out, and bragged about being loyal. Durk even helped him at one point, buying him cars and giving him $50,000 to start fresh. But eventually, Jam flipped, cutting a deal with the feds. Reports say he handed over a massive amount of evidence, 230 gigabytes of recordings, footage, and 20,000 pages of reports, all of which could hurt Durk's case. Not long after, whispers spread that Jam was hiding out near Atlanta, laying low after being branded a rat. Photos even leaked from the spot where he was supposedly found, suggesting he'd already faced retaliation for turning on Durk. According to prosecutors, Jam gave investigators damaging information linking Durk to multiple incidents. They believe Durk may have had a hand in targeting Stefan Mack, the man accused of killing Durk's brother Detang, and even Jam's own ex, who they say became a target once Jam started cooperating. The government claims Jam could tie Durk to 3 separate crimes, making him one of the most dangerous witnesses against him. Fans also pointed to a strange Instagram Live Jam once did, where he kept nervously tugging at his jacket like he might be wearing a wire. Later, in an interview, Durk himself hinted that he could spot a snitch a mile away, saying he knew instantly when someone was cooperating. After that, Durk tightened security, stopped inviting friends to his house, and made it clear that nobody, even close associates, was allowed near his kids. The betrayal stings for Durk, considering how much support he once gave Jam. Old clips resurfaced of Jam praising Durk for looking out for him, only for the same man to later hand over evidence. Even worse, people spotted familiar faces in the background of Jam's old livestream, people believed to be tied to the hit on Lil Pab, one of Durk's rivals. Prosecutors are also using Durk's own Instagram posts as evidence. On the day Stefan Mack was killed, Durk posted a story saying "for Detang" and laughed online the very next day. To investigators, that timing was no coincidence. When asked whether Durk would consider a plea deal, his lawyer Drew Findling was firm. "There is no deal. This case," he said, "is all or nothing. Either Durk walks free, or he faces life in prison." Findling also pushed back on prosecutors using Durk's lyrics and social media posts against him. He argued that this violates Durk's First Amendment rights, pointing out that countless musicians in every genre write songs about violence or crime without being charged for their art. For him, Durk's words were music, not confessions. For now, the stakes couldn't be higher. With witnesses flipping, rumors of hits ordered from jail, and prosecutors piecing together digital evidence, Durk's fight for freedom is coming down to one question: will a jury believe he's a criminal mastermind, or just an artist being punished for his lyrics? Some lawyers think Lil Durk still has a shot at release, similar to how Young Thug ended up getting out after a long legal fight. Even though prosecutors used lyrics in that Atlanta case, many defendants didn't end up with long sentences, and some walked out on time served. That outcome shows how weak some of these prosecutions can look, especially when courts treat rap lyrics like literal confessions. Durk's lawyer points out the same issue. Songs are often creative work, not crime reports. He also notes the timing. Some tracks were released months earlier, and argues the feds don't fully understand how rappers speak. Outside observers can take lines at face value, while people inside the culture know phrases often mean different things depending on context, audience, and timing. Misreading that can be a big mistake for prosecutors. But the feds aren't sitting still. They delayed Durk's bond hearing to gather more evidence, and rumors of a new cooperating witness started circling the courtroom. That same week, Brick Baby was arrested in a larger sweep that included Big U, Loose Cannon, and others. Defense lawyers now worry prosecutors will pressure Brick Baby to flip and hand over information about Durk. Investigators believe Brick Baby might know details about the hit on Lil Pab and could even have passed along Quando Rondo's location to people who carried out attacks. After Lil Pab's death, Brick Baby went live and made comments that prosecutors say point to his knowledge of who slid for King Von. In interviews, Brick Baby has suggested he would share a location if someone asked him a line that prosecutors interpret as an admission he could have helped. All of this matters because any new snitch could strengthen the government's case. If someone from Durk's circle starts cooperating, prosecutors argue it raises the risk that Durk would intimidate witnesses or flee if released. That's why judges are being cautious, and why Durk's legal team is fighting hard to push back on using rap lyrics and online posts as proof of criminal acts.